What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I'm your host, Davin Jackson, also known as DJax. You may notice that things are a little bit different this week. Ran into some difficulties, but the show must go on. So, again, I welcome all of you to the episode. For those of you who aren't familiar with InfoSec Unplugged, this is my show that I do live every Thursday where I talk with different professionals in the cybersecurity and technology fields about their passions, about their journeys, about their ups and downs, and we just try to keep it 100 for everybody. So a couple things before I introduce my guest. Next week, we will be doing another episode live, but instead of Thursdays, it will be on Wednesday, so everybody can celebrate Christmas Eve and then Christmas if that's what you celebrate. And we're not going to really have a guest. If you want to join, you can be the guest. Anybody could jump on live, say some well wishes, ask me any questions, and we're just going to have a party for the duration of the show. So if you guys are available next Wednesday, which will be the 23rd of December, around 6 p.m., it might go a little bit later for a couple hours, and we'll just live it up and enjoy celebrating getting towards the end of 2020. So like I said, come by, say some well wishes, ask me some questions, and have a good time. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to get right into it. My guest today, when I announced that I would be interviewing her, I got comments like legend. I got comments like don't mess this up. She's a big deal. And it actually made me a little bit nervous. So I'm trying to get my Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters bag going on right now. But everybody watching, I want you to give a big warm welcome to Mary Galloway. How you
doing? Great intro.
Thank you.
I don't feel like a legend.
So I am not joking. When I announced it, it was like, everybody was just like, yes, and I see why. We talked about it offline a little bit. I remember, I think my first interaction with you, because, with my story, me being like a lone wolf, I wasn't really on Twitter like that. And I saw you commented a couple things and I was like, okay, this is maybe about a year or two ago. And I was like, yeah, okay, absolutely. I got to link up with her at some point. And then I remembered it was maybe somewhere earlier this year, maybe in the springtime, when you had followed me and I was like, oh, I'm in there. Yeah, right.
I think I remember that too. I was like, oh, I should probably follow this person. He looks kind of cool.
And then the funny thing is, like, everything that I knew you were involved, or I didn't know you were involved, and we're gonna touch on that later. But it was just everything just fell into place. And then when I interviewed a couple weeks ago, when I interviewed Tracy, and you commented, and then I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get you on the show. And then you said, sure, let's set it up. And I was like, oh, she's serious. Oh, let me jump on this. So welcome. Thank you for joining.
Happy to be here.
And I'm going to let you talk about who you are for a second.
Jeez Louise. Really? I gotta talk about my story? Well, you can read about it on mostlymeme.com. That's my blog post. I'm going to get that revamped this year coming up. I just haven't had time. But for those that don't know me, I am the Mary Galloway, as Tyrone has always called me. That's what it says on my Twitter. I don't think I'm that special. I just like to help people advance their careers, whether it's in tech, cyber, nonprofit world, really just anywhere. I've been in the industry for, like 11 years now. I got my start at NGA back in 2009 as a government contractor on the East Coast, as a network engineer. And I tell this to everybody, I hated it. Like, I was the only female. They wouldn't let me get down and dirty with, running cables and, configuring routers and switches. And I was just like, I hate technology. I want to get out of this field. I don't care about my degrees. It doesn't matter. And then I got my Security Plus. And while I was getting my Security Plus, then one of the teachers came in and he showed us how to pull router configs off of the internet. And they were in plain text. And I was like, holy crap, like, that's not good. And I was like, okay, let me see if I can stay in this industry a little bit longer. And so I bounced around to various government agencies, moved to North Carolina, moved back to DC, and finally got my my government job. I was a GS-13, and I was like, you know what? I can make more money out in the private sector. Let me move to Las Vegas. And here I am in Sin City 4 years later. I came out here to work for one of the large casinos here, doing vulnerability management, helping them stand up their program. Moved into an architecture role, and then I was like, you know what, it's time for me to move on to something else. I wanted to work more on the customer side with more customers, customer facing. And I took a role with Palo Alto as a customer success architect for the Cortex division. So I work with all of the automation stuff that Palo Alto does. As if I'm not busy with that job, I'm also the CEO and a founding board member for the Women's Society of Cyberjutsu.
Talk about it.
Yep, we do hands-on training for women and for girls to get them exposed to cybersecurity technologies, and then to help them advance once they're in the industry, and to keep them in the industry. Our membership is made up of men, women, boys, girls, doesn't matter. We want everybody to come and be a part of the community, so it's open to everybody. I also teach at the University of Maryland. I just put my final grades in a couple hours ago. Semester ended today. So that's kind of cool, been doing that for a while. Launched a business this summer, A&M Strategies. It's kind of a weird mix. It's bookkeeping and cybersecurity consulting. Weird combination, but I've been doing the bookkeeping for the nonprofit for so long. I was like, you know what? I'm like a QuickBooks master. Let me just go ahead and see if I can slide some funds in that way.
Hey,
multiple streams of income.
Multiple streams in the same
multiple
business.
Streams.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, you kind of touched on how you got into cybersecurity already. Like I said, when I first came across and I was looking at everything, one of the things that stood out to me was the certifications and the education, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have your bachelor's, you have your master's, and you have a shitload of certifications, right? And this is coming from someone who has 23 last time I checked.
Oh, you got more than me.
Well, I started off doing IT stuff. I went and got Microsoft stuff.
Got it. Okay.
And I kept trying to re-up. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them should be expired by the end of the year, so that number will dwindle down. But like I said, I saw yours, and I mean, CISSP. You got various GCIA. I mean, so kudos to you. But what is your? So we're gonna go with two questions. So first, you are the perfect candidate to answer this question.
Okay.
I've given my opinions on it, and other people have. But what is your thoughts on certs versus degrees and that whole?
Cool. That's tough. They both have their place, right? I got my degrees before I got in the industry, because at that time that was what they were saying. You have to have these degrees to get into the industry. I couldn't even get my first job if I didn't have my bachelor's degree. Actually, I had my master's degree at that time too. So at that time, certifications were around, but I had no clue what they were. I didn't even know they were a thing. And so my thing was just getting my education. And I kept going because I had student loans to pay, and I didn't want to pay them back. So I was like, let me just keep going. And then when I started working in NGA and the 8570 came out, that's when I was like, oh, what is this? That's certifications. My husband just came home. And he's like creeping up on me right now. They said hi.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
And that's when I started learning about the certifications and, Security Plus, CCNA. And I figured if I get these things, then maybe I'll be able to get hands-on and like do stuff. Didn't quite work out that way still, but that kind of sent me down the path of, I need to get these certifications. I like the challenge. What's next? So to be honest with you, a combination of both. I know for a lot of managerial positions, if you're not in a company for like 15 years, if you want to transition to another company, you may need to have a degree for that.
Right.
And I think both are very important. If you can find ways to fund it without having to get student loans, without having to go in debt, that's the best way to do it. And right now, there's so many different scholarship opportunities and so many different um, ways of getting that funded. A lot of companies will pay for a degree. Um, so I don't think one's more important than the other because I have them both.
Right. So before we get into the next one, salute to Professor Black Ops, who said shout out to you because he's actually grading right now.
Fun stuff, fun stuff.
Let's see. You think I was joking? We have Kim here who says rock, and then
Hey,
wait for it.
Kim.
Rock star. So
I'll take them both.
yep. JB Cyber Insight says, "Hey everybody." Trent says hello.
Hey.
We touched on Ty real quick. Shout out to Ty. Hope everything's going well. He says Mary Galloway.
I love Tyrone. He's pretty awesome. I've known him for a long time, and he's doing some great stuff out there on the East Coast. And our nonprofit. We're partners with him for training and things like that. And so he's good people.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is. Computer Science Barbie says hi.
Hey, I see you.
Yeah. Kristen says hi. Says hey. DFIR Diva, she says hey, and shout out to her. She's another one doing big things here.
I like to see her when she does her videos. I like to see the notifications. I have the little bell checked on her.
So you touched on the cert versus degrees, and like I said, I agree, especially for upper management. Like I said, when I tell my story, after I came out of the service, I was lost and didn't know what to do, and by the time I really got into tech, my daughter was born, and I felt like I needed to do something immediately, and that's how I stumbled across certifications. So maybe I'll go to school one day, especially with schools like WGU letting you transfer your search for credits. But like I said, I definitely think that there's a place for both of them. Let's see now, but about your certifications, and like I said, you have a bunch of them. What is your approach when prepping and taking certifications? Because I need to know this personally. So sorry y'all, this is a selfish question. I used to just lock in, right? Like I'd go, okay, Daddy's going to disappear for a little while, and I would go into the cave and study. And I'm finding that as I get older, it's a lot harder to do that between work and running businesses and everything. So, what is your approach when you're tackling these certifications and exams?
So, that's a really good question. I don't take notes, which could have been why I failed the CISSP the first time, but I failed it by 4 points. So it was like one question. I typically just read whatever the materials are for that certification. A lot of practice questions. The second time I took the CISSP, I did do a study group, which is how I found Cyberjutsu, was through a study group. The GAC ones, though, those I'll do the class, take notes, then I'll do my index, take more notes, read, do the practice test, take notes from the practice test, revamp my index, and then take another practice test like the night before I would take that certification and go in and go that route. And I never passed any practice tests for SANS, ever. Like, ever. No matter how many times I take them.
That makes me feel better about the practice exam I just failed.
Yeah, so I don't look at it especially with those, I look at that more as a training opportunity versus if I pass, I'm going to do fine on the test. If you pass, you're going to probably do fine. But if you fail, you're probably still going to do fine, right? As long as you're taking what you failed and incorporating that into your learning and making sure that you review that kind of stuff later and know where stuff is at in the book. Like, even if it's something you think put it in your index. because when you're taking the test, there's not a lot of time. And so you think you know what the CIA triad is, but then you get in there and you freeze and it's like, crap, what does that mean again?
Yeah.
So any and everything, put it in there. Um, good tabs on the books. I'm trying to think of when I took Pen Test Plus and the CYSA, those were cold. And I wasn't expecting to pass those at all. Because I went in and I was like, oh, this is kind of hard. I haven't done this stuff in quite some time. But yeah, really, I think the biggest thing is making sure you have the right materials and based on whatever way that you learn, utilizing those materials to the fullest. So if you need videos, watch the videos, watch them over and over again, speed them up so that you have to force yourself to listen. Like I said, I never took any notes for the other ones. I think for CCNA, there was a site that had a bunch of simulations and like questions that you could look at and study from that. That's what I did for that after I read the book. And if you're reading a book, take it chapter by chapter, one chapter a week, go through the material, go through some hands-on exercises with it. Ask the community for some assistance on a specific topic if you don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I have a weird way of retaining information most of the time.
I was gonna say, that was a little slight flex there. I don't take notes.
I've never, even in college, I tried to be a note taker. For what? I would never go back to it. So I would write all this stuff down and I would never go back to looking at that stuff. So it was pointless.
The approach.
Yeah.
So you touched on it when you said the CISSP train when you were prepping for that. But yeah, how did you decide that you were going to start the Women's Society of Cyberjutsu?
So I didn't start it. Lisa Jiggets actually is the founder, and she started it in like October of 2012. And basically, she started it because in the Northern Virginia area, they had a couple of different hacker groups, meetups out there. And the ones that she was in, they either fizzled out or she just didn't feel comfortable, going and asking questions because it was like that bro code thing. And there wasn't a lot of women that would attend those things. And so she was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do my own thing and see what happens. And she hosted a workshop on Backtrack. And like women in the DC area showed up, but women on the West Coast and in the Midwest also showed up virtually. And so that's kind of got the ball rolling. And then I found it in March when I moved back to DC because of the study group, because I was pissed that I failed the test by 4 points because I had to pay another $600 to take it again. Yeah, I was mad. So I found the study group and, I was like, I know this stuff, but whatever. And I went to one of the first workshops. My first workshop was a reverse engineering one. And she hit me up and was like, hey, I'm building this board. Do you want to join? And I was like, sure, whatever. I don't care. I don't know anybody in the area. Let me do something because I didn't realize the impact it would have on so many people. Because I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that there weren't a lot of women in the industry. There weren't a lot of minorities. I was just like, I just want to work, get hands-on and do that stuff. So that wasn't a driving factor for me. I just like Lisa and I like what she was doing. And I said, let me just get in this. And I've been in it for 7-8 years now.
Yeah, I just followed Lisa recently.
Yeah.
Lisa.
So,
now you said something. How does it feel to know that you either directly or indirectly literally inspire and touch the lives of so many people, especially young ladies and women, right?
If you had told me 10 years ago I'd be here at this point, I'd be like, yeah, you're telling stories. Like, some days I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore because there's so much pressure to do so much, right? And then I'll get an email that says, hey, that advice you gave or that talk you talked on really helped me figure out my plan, and I'm going to go blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow. Okay. And this is men and women, not just women. And I don't know. It's one of those things where, I don't know. It makes me happy. Right. And it keeps me wanting to continue to give back and, to continue to provide resources and programs and opportunities for those folks that are coming behind me. Right. I know I'm at a place now where, I can stay technical or I can go into a more leadership role, and I have more of an obligation to help those folks that are coming in, that are trying to break into the industry, that are trying to navigate the waters and trying to figure out, okay, where do I go next? And so for me, I love it. I definitely love it. Ups and downs.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I tell people that all the time. If it wasn't for some of the words of encouragement and the thank yous and stuff, I probably would have quit tech,
Oh
a
yeah.
few times already.
Oh yeah.
Like especially like earlier this year when like I was like, I'm done. I have a couple obligations and I'm a man of my word, so I'm gonna honor these
Right.
obligations. But after that, on one hand it was deuces, and on the other hand it was the middle finger. I'm out.
Yep.
And
But that we go through that, right?
yeah,
This is an industry that can burn you out.
yeah,
Especially when you put you're all into it, and you don't feel like it's making an impact.
right. And
So
that was, and and then you touched on it, with the bro code and the
yep.
gatekeeping and all of that, and it was just like, you know what, yeah, I couldn't. But then I also felt like it was hypocritical for me to walk away when I'm telling people to, believe in yourself, bet on yourself,
Right.
and persevere. So and this is just coming from my perspective. I know, not that I know personally, but I know it's a lot worse for women, especially women of color, entering the field. So I mean, you don't have to get too personal, but I mean, what challenges have you faced or still facing this field that you wish could go away?
I
If you
wish
had a magic wand and could say, "Poof, we gone."
I wish the whole notion of when we get excited or have passion, or I don't know, whatever it is, the whole aggressiveness and the whole stereotypical Black woman, I wish that would go away.
Yep.
Because it hinders the folks that want to have a voice, because some of them are afraid to have that voice, right? Because as soon as you're labeled that, no matter what you do, you're always going to be that in that work environment, no matter what. So that's the main thing I wish that would go away. I've been told in my last job, I would send emails to folks, and I'm pretty direct in email. And we have properties overseas in Macau. Well, not we, they did in Macau and Singapore. And I would send them emails and say, hey, I need XYZ, here's the deadline, yada, yada, yada. My boss would say, you can't do that. What do you mean? I need the stuff from them. Or you can't go to them and tell them that they need to give you something by a deadline. I said, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, you have to make it seem like it's their idea and you have to ask them nicely. I said, I did ask nice. It's an email, and it was just like, got it. So then it was, send me all of your emails before you send them overseas to Asia, because I want to make sure that it doesn't come across as you trying to demand something from them. And I was just like, cool, gotcha. That's why I don't work there. Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't work there anymore.
Yeah, because I had some choice words, and I'm like, wait, this isn't you. She's
Yeah. Like, I'm like, come on, I don't need to be all fluffy and all like, oh my gosh, your hair looks so cute. I need this from you. No, just, we have a relationship. And it's like, and I told him, I said, I have a relationship with these folks already. We talk on the phone on a weekly basis. So it's not anything where I'm trying to be their boss, because I'm not. But he didn't like that apparently. Apparently somebody said something and that got back to him, and then it came to me, and I was just like, okay, fine. I won't send anything.
I had a situation where there was one gentleman, and that's just how he talks, right? I mean, he would be condescending. He'd try to talk down to you, and that's just how he talk. You just have to, it's okay. That's just him being him. And one day he caught me
Uh-oh.
off guard, and the kid from Bridgeport came out of me real quick.
Uh-oh.
And and you see, I got the Birdman.
Yeah,
and,
it's about to go down.
and immediately it was like, it went from professional code. It went from the code switch, like, yes, okay, yeah, I understand. To no, let me come holler at you for it real quick.
Let's go outside to the street
Real
quick.
it was like straight up, like, yo, let me holler at you for a second. Yo, check this out. All of that, don't let me see it happen again. Right? And it was like, well, what was that all about? I said, I'm matching his energy.
Exactly.
Just because y'all think it's okay,
right?
Don't mean it's okay for
right.
me.
Exactly.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm a man first, and I didn't tolerate it in the military. I damn sure didn't tolerate it in the office where people are rocking around. I'm not gonna go there, but
we're not gonna do that. But yeah, that's not how this works.
Right. Like, this is the show about positivity. So, but speaking about positivity, you all, on top of everything else you do, you have your blog site, mostly meaning.com.
Yes.
Right. And I have a blog. I have a blog site as well, and I think probably the most personal blog I've written to date was about my experience with the OSCP and failing and all of that. And it was because I felt uncomfortable talking about, setting unrealistic goals, imposter syndrome, dealing with anxiety and all of that. So I shy away from it, even now, and to date, that's like my most successful blog post, right? But I still kind of shy away from it. I mean, I still do these. I'll do this show. I'll do sometimes, like during the Share the Mic and Cyber event, I went on live and I started speaking some stuff which upset some people and ruffled some feathers. So I just really have to be in the mood for it. But on your blog, you find a way to basically blend it. Like you talk about your experiences in tech, but you also speak on it from a personal standpoint. And two of my favorite articles that I read that were both about embracing your story and embracing change. Right?
Yeah.
Like I read those and I was like, yeah. Right? So, and I mean, if you check out the blog site, like I said, there aren't too many articles on there, but I almost think that makes it that much more impactful.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Well, no, because it's like you keep them short and sweet, but they get the point across, and then like I said, you'll post them every so often, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like a I can't remember. What's the word? I can't figure out the word. Like I was never good with words, but I just think it was, to me. I don't know if that was the plan or if that was a coincidence, but either way, it was, to me. It's perfect. So
no, that wasn't the plan. I actually started that blog earlier this year with the intention of posting something once a week. That, you see how that worked out. We've gone through like how many weeks? 40, 30 some weeks or something, and I've got like 5 posts.
yeah.
I don't have time, right? And I have like 4 in draft on the back end, and I'll start writing it and then I'll get distracted and like have to go do something on something else. And then I'll be like, oh crap, what was I gonna write about? But no, I don't really share my story, right? I'm the behind the scenes person. I like to work behind the scenes. I like to get stuff done. I like to make the folks that are in the forefront look good. That's always just been my thing. High school, I was the vice president of the student government thing. My sorority, I was the vice president. Here, I was the second in command type of thing. And I've always just been, I'm good at that stuff. And so I would never really tell my story. Folks didn't really know who I was. And Jessica, our board president, was like, for like the last year and a half, she's like, you got to tell your story. You got to tell your story. Other people need to hear this. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And so I started to do it a little bit. And I think that last one, a lot of stuff has happened in 2020. You know, I had surgery, was out of work for a while for that. And then work was stressing me out. And then all of the stuff, the social injustices and that stuff was just like stressing me out. And then, you know, trying to run a nonprofit and folks are coming at you like, we got to put a message out. We got to put a message out. We got to put something out. And I'm just like, can I deal with it first before I just put something out there? And then just changes happening here in Vegas and all the COVID stuff. And I was just like, you know what? Put the story out now. Let folks really know my story. And there's still a lot more to it, but I think because I never really thought my story is important, right? But then, you know, I keep hearing these things are like, doesn't matter what you think, your story is important to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's going to help somebody get through whatever it is that they're getting through. Because, you know, they may have the same situation that you have, and you've helped them see a different way out of that. And so that was kind of the driving force behind it. And, you know, the last few months have kind of been, it's like you know what? I'm tired of being in the funk that I'm in. Let's make this happen. Started working out, see a trainer 3 times a week. My husband goes with me. We have this thing, you know, relationship goals on Instagram because we challenge each other while we're doing it. And, you know, something clicked and it said, okay, there's no reason to be in that place anymore. It's time to move forward. Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm trying to retire soon, so I don't have to work. And so I got to get my money right. So
all about getting that extra money.
Yeah.
But 2 things, two points to that. One, like I said, even like when I did the OSCP one, it's amazing how, because I thought the same thing, right? Like no one's interested in this. Like who cares about little old me in this big world of, you know,
right,
rock stars and people, and then just to see, like I remember Jason Street, mm-hmm. was the first person who retweeted that my article, and I remember because it was I think it was my birthday when I released it, right? And the funny thing is I had it in draft for a while, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not putting this out there. And then like I'm sitting there and I might have had a couple to drink, and I was just like, I'm looking at it and I was like, fuck it. And I hit publish.
So I hit courage.
And it was one of those, like, right. And then he retweeted it, and then I started here, and then everybody was like, man, you know, thank you. You know, I thought it was just me. So it was like, wow, there are a lot of people out there who, you know, may feel like they're the only ones, and you, and by doing that, you're letting them know that, nah, I'm right here with you.
Right here with you, yeah.
And then the other thing to shout out to your husband, but that's, you know, having a spouse that really backs you, is I tell that to people all the time. Like it's a great feeling. Like I tell people all the time, like what really got me to say, okay, I'm going to get into tech is my wife, right? Because when I left that last job and didn't figure out what I was going to do, like essentially she came in and put her foot in my ass. Like I don't. And, you know, and the funny thing is, like, they're like, man, you like, and the crazy thing, like, we were friends throughout high school and stuff like that, but she was always the one that was just like, tell me how it is. Like when I was in the military acting up, and like everybody was like terrified of me, and she called me and go, yo, I haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. I'm like, yeah, I kind of got in trouble, and she would like let me have it. Right? and my homeboy was like, yo, you want to let her talk to you like that? And I'm like, yeah,
kind of.
And so when we got together, it just enhanced it. And you know, like I said, I tell the story, like she basically came in, baby on hip, and was like, yo, what are you doing? What is it that you like to do? And I was like, well, I always like tech. And she was like, so get your ass out there and go do it.
Yeah, I like her.
And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. She's like, listen, we ain't, nah.
Nah.
So, you know, And like I said, to this day, like I said, like that was my driving force because
Yeah.
I knew had I had I not gotten that push, who knows what I would have ended up.
Right. You wouldn't
Especially
have this awesome live right now if you
yeah,
hadn't of.
right. And I mean, even with this stuff, like when I told her, I said, like I love tech, I love doing pen testing stuff, but I want to transition, and I also want to try to help other people, right? Because I know what it took for me to get here. I
Right. Yeah.
know all the little shortcuts I had to, or little stupid things I had to do just
Right.
to get enough stuff on my resume where someone would look at me.
Right. Yep.
And I said, I want to help bring up the next people, especially people in communities that I grew up in,
Yeah.
that, you know, we either couldn't afford it or we were told we weren't smart enough.
Right. Yep. Or
And
didn't know it was an opportunity or an option to do.
right.
You know.
And when I told her about all of this, and she was like, it's probably gonna be some work, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know. And she's like, all right, well,
Make it happen.
go on and
Bye.
do it, right? And occasionally we'll get the, you're doing too much, you work too much, I miss you stuff. But, I guess that comes with being with somebody you love. And like I said, and with her running her own business, oh yeah, One Dream Cakes and Treats, got to do the plug. If you're in the Georgia area and get a custom cake, come talk to her. JB, if you're watching, we almost doing. We're working on it. We're working.
Okay. And who's doing her bookkeeping?
every time I talk about it, Jay Bizzle's like, listen, whenever you do the shipping, I'll be the test subject. So,
still waiting. Yes, I'm still waiting too because I'm ready. Okay. Look, I'll give y'all the friends and family discount for the bookkeeping if she needs it.
Oh, look, okay, I'll let her know. Shoot, we might. So look, there it is, still waiting. But so like I said, so again, on top of the you are you're in a great position, right? So you're in Vegas.
Love it.
I went out there. I went out there for like 2 weeks, like years ago, for Red Flag with the military, and I was like, this place is awesome, but I need to make sure that I am financially responsible.
Yeah, I don't go to the Strip that often. I do not go at all unless people are in town. But I stay away from there.
Right. But I mean, but you're basically in the spot where it all happens one time a year, right?
Yeah.
From the end of July, beginning of August, like you are there, and on top of it, you probably work with some of the things that people wish they could hack, other than student loans and bank accounts, right?
Right.
So that's got to be the top three: student loans, bank accounts, and casinos.
Yeah.
What is that like? Either doing a set. Hold on, without breaking NDA. What is that like? Either testing those abilities. Like, is it different? Is it the same? What is that like? How much fun is it? That's what I want to know.
So yes, being here when Black Hat, DEF CON, all that stuff happens is freaking awesome. However, the years that I would come here for those events, I'd be lit. I can't be lit because I got to drive home. So that's kind of the downfall. And it's like, crap, I got to go home. I got to go to work the next day. But honestly, so I'm not actually a hacker. I've never done penetration testing as a job. I've wanted to, but it never really came to fruition. I have a lot of certifications, and those have helped me with the work that I did at the casino. But as far as what's different, the foundation, the fundamentals is still the same. We still have to deal with, what can we scan at what times, what can we hack and when, understanding what our crown jewels are, right? For the casino world, availability. Your cameras have to be on. If a camera on a table goes off and it's off for whatever the gaming commission says is unacceptable, the casino shuts down.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like Their bottom line is availability and making sure they bring that revenue in. We do have large SCADA environments. And so when I came to the casino, I was going to be an SES in the government. I was trying to get to that point because I was going to be like the head person in charge and all this stuff. And then the opportunity came to make the leap and move out here. But I didn't even think about casino security. Like I was just like, oh, that's nothing really. They just run stuff. It wasn't a thing that was in my mind, like Walgreens or groceries, all that stuff. And so what was cool about here was the amount of ICS and the SCADA and learning and understanding how those systems work and how you can't really run, a Rapid 7 scan on, an HMI or, the PMCS or any of those things because it can break it. They're old systems. They don't take well to those kind of scanning and that kind of stuff. And so trying to figure out what the vulnerabilities were in those environments and how to better secure that environment was a lot of fun, I think. I learned one of the other cool things about working in a casino, ours specifically, I was at the Venetian and the Palazzo for those that want to know. Thank you, Cyber. Thanks, JB. Yeah, I worked at the Venetian. What was cool about there is the CISO there. He has a really cool vision, and he wanted to make that SOC and that cybersecurity department, the best on the strip. So we would have all of the latest technologies that worked within the environment and that was still top notch, right? So it wasn't just him buying a bunch of stuff. It was, here's the strategy for the next couple of years. We're going to the cloud. How do we bring in other tools and things like that? And how do we move stuff away from infrastructure to the cloud? So we got to see a lot of different vendors. I think I talked to hundreds of different companies I hadn't even heard of. One being CyberX, which was purchased by Microsoft. They do vulnerability scanning specifically for SCADA systems and ICS environments. No clue who they were, but it was cool to see what they can do. And so understanding how those environments work, how the wireless works, how the escalators and the elevators work. There was one time I was there, and we got a notification in our email about somebody stuck in the elevator. Some celebrity was stuck in an elevator in the casino, and he was tweeting about it. I'm not sure who it was, but it was just those kind of things. So those kind of things you have to be on top of, right? And our SOC was follows the sun mentality. So during the day, we would monitor Asia because they're at night, and then at night they would monitor us. And their casino footprint is bigger than the one here. So if you guys are ever in Macau, the Cotai Strip, there's like 9 or 10 properties owned by the Sands. Beautiful properties, beautiful themed places. If you're in Singapore, Marina Bay Sands, the one with the 3 towers and the big infinity pool on top. Beautiful hotel. Go check it out. Great company to work for. I liked it, but I just was ready to move. But if you want to learn some different stuff, going into the casino world, I think is a good move, a good risk to take. If you're not familiar with PCI, you get familiar with PCI. If you're not familiar with, even with HIPAA, because the whole organization, they also had some like medical stuff too. So we had to learn a little bit about HIPAA and how that stuff works. It's definitely a lot of fun to get to play around in that technology. I will say that.
I can imagine. My hacker bucket list has trying to do a physical pen test on a casino. Like,
good luck.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like that's the challenge. It's like it scratches the itch in the back of my head, where it's like I'm probably gonna get caught, but I have to try.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's interesting because they're constantly trying to find ways to keep the environment secure. So, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but when I first started at the casino, the doors to the back of the house, so that's like when you walk through the casino and you see like some random door, if you go through that door, it takes you to behind like the stores and the casino floor and all that stuff. Um, a lot of those doors didn't have locks on them. And I was like, wait, people just walk through? So at that point, you probably could have, walked in because nobody really challenges anybody unless you just completely look at a place, right? And they do pen tests. All the casinos have to do physical pen tests, and they have companies come in and do the pen test for them. It's happened. Somebody was able to plug into a port and get on the network. It was from a printer, right? He unplugged the printer, plugged in his computer, and was on the network. It's like, oh, probably not a good idea. But because of that, they started to put those things in place to make sure you can't physically get in unless you're tailgating. And then it's like, wait a minute, who are you? I don't know you, right? But then that comes to security training. How are you training your folks to be able to spot folks that shouldn't be in the environment? Because we're supposed to wear name tags, right? But the security office, we didn't wear name tags. We had a badge, but we didn't have to wear a name tag. So how do you know that I work there or this person works there?
Right.
So, but when you do break in, let me know.
Hopefully, I don't know if I do a name drop, they'll let me go. Like, we're cool, we're friends.
Right.
He was on my shirt, we're fine.
I'd be like, no, put him in jail right now.
So, on top of everything, like I said, one of the things I that I also find interesting about the women, the Cyberjutsu group, is that anybody is welcome, right? Anybody and everybody is welcome. So talk about that, because you do have some groups where it's like, no, it's well, I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. Right? Tech and cybersecurity is typically the He-Man woman hater club from like the old Little Rascal reference back in the day.
Yep.
And then it's a specific He-Man woman club, right? So when I see other groups that are about whether it's, I call them the About Us groups, whether it's for women, whether it's for minorities, I'm all for it. You guys take a different approach, and you're like, hey, if you want to support, let's go, right? So talk about that, and talk about how people can support your group.
So we are women focused, right? So our focus is always going to be on helping women get into the industry, advance, and stay, right? But we also understand the importance of having everyone in the conversation of how we move this needle, of how we push the diversity from, I guess it's 20% now, I don't know, the report that just came out, to a more equitable level, right? So when we have in-person workshops, and not all of them, but a lot of the in-person workshops, we do limit that to just the ladies. However, we do virtual. So most of our stuff is virtual, so anybody can show up. Our networking events, if it's a happy hour, if it's the awards event, if it's our conference, anybody can participate, right? It's there's a lot of organizations that are like, nope, you can't be in here because we want it to be a safe space. And we want it to be a safe space, but we take measures to make sure that if someone makes it unsafe, they're removed from the situation right away. We have a code of conduct for that stuff. We've got ways to report that kind of thing, and it happens immediately. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I feel like, or there's this history with this person, here's the receipts. It's like, all right,
cool.
We'll move it away. We'll investigate it later. No issues. But if people want to support, definitely join womenscyberjutsu.org. We're going to have a lot of new stuff coming up next year, hopefully, that we're going to need people to volunteer to help with, workshops and trainings and helping us get partnerships. We're looking to partner with training companies and other organizations to offer more resources to our women. We always need money. We are a volunteer-run organization, me included. There's finally a small amount of money coming to me every month, but it's not enough for me to say I'm going to quit my job and go do this full time. Because we're not bringing that kind of money in, but it's enough to compensate. And I don't need it. They voted for it, right? But we need funding because at some point, when I transition from the role that I'm in, we do want to hire somebody full time that can do this stuff day to day, that their focus is solely on the organization. You know, we want to build up our board. So we're looking for advisory board members, and our executive leadership team is looking for volunteers and people to help with some of that day to day stuff. And if you want to teach, if you want to run a small group, if you want to provide mentoring, pretty much any and everything, we're open to it, as long as it's within our mission of helping women, you know, advance in the industry, giving them hands-on experience, giving them, you know, a network, a community of people, their tribe. You know, we call it the Cyberjutsu tribe, so that they have those resources to go to when they need something. Definitely reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, obviously. I'm on Twitter, obviously. I'm on Instagram too, if you want to follow me there. I think it's Mimi8303 on Insta. Mimi came from, I'm a big Mariah Carey fan. Don't judge me, please. You know, I love Mariah Carey with all of her crazy.
Those are usually the best ones, right?
Yeah. Her music has gotten me through a lot of stuff. But yeah, if you want to participate in any kind of way, we're having our conference again in June. We're starting the planning for that now. So if you want to teach a workshop, if you want to host, you know, something in the career center or anything like that, let me know. I got you. It's not just for women to teach. Men can teach too. Yes.
Wicked Six?
Wicked Six, yes. We're hoping to be able to put that on this year. We couldn't do it this past year because of funding, obviously. But we are hoping to be able to do it again. COVID messed up a lot of stuff. And so we weren't able to do that. And funding for companies kind of washed up. But we are planning to do that again this year. Or in 2021. So yes. Also be on the lookout for our 2020 year in review event at the end of January. We're going to try something new this year. In addition to sending out the annual report, we're going to do, you know, a 1-hour session talking about what we did, getting feedback from people, getting ideas and thoughts, and everybody's welcome to come in. Yes, if you need, I will be selling shirts. We have Wicked Six shirts from 2019, so get them while they're hot. We've got the team jerseys. We also have WSC shirts. My hope is to get them on the website by the end of the year. But I'm the only one doing it because they're in my garage. So be patient, but you can buy one. I'll ship it to you. And
okay. So
yeah.
I got the, so you heard it here first. Like I said, for one, I'm like I said, any way I can help out, you just let me know. But a CTF like competition in an esports arena? Yo,
oh my God, it was so awesome.
Please sign me up. Like I need that in my veins. Like, please. So if you guys are searching, because if you can, and no knock on the people who hosted it but if you guys need a host or someone there, I'll hold a camera, I'll hold the notes, whatever. But
I got you.
I need to be in for
yes.
And I please, and I'll tell the wife we going to Vegas.
Let's go.
But I'm going. I need to be there. So,
yeah, please. We'll definitely put you. I'll talk to Jessica when we have our next meeting, and we'll definitely have you involved. There's lots of ways to get involved with Wicked Six, from shoutcasting to in studio interviews. I think Tyrone did some. Kirsten did a couple. She was interviewed. If you haven't seen Wicked Six, go to our YouTube channel. You can just type in Cyberjutsu on YouTube, and there's a video of the entire event. It's a co-ed college event fundraiser for the organization where we bring cybersecurity into esports, and they do mini missions. Yes, I got you. They do, instead of doing, the 6-hour competition, it's 45-minute missions, and you're going head to head, and you get to see exactly what people are doing. And you have the shoutcasters, doing the play-by-play. And basically we're trying to bring the element of sports to cybersecurity and focus on the cyber athlete. And, you have to train like an athlete to be successful and those kind of things. And so it's a really cool thing if you can come.
Yes. And like I said, I because that was my idea for a Twitch channel a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And I started putting the ball in motion last year, and I said, okay, I set it up. I did all the how-to videos, and then I was going to do CTF style Twitch streams, and then try to bring other people in and see, like, do like a race to root and all of that.
Right.
And I said, okay, we did a family trip to Disney, and I said, we're gonna enjoy Disney, even though everything that was happening in my head, I was trying to figure out how I could hack Disney, but whatever. Look, talking about articles that never got released. That there was that.
That's another one.
But I said, when we get back, it's a go. And while we were at Disney, I think it was 4th of July, I started seeing that Twitch started banning people.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay, well, so much for that idea. And now it looks like they kind of eased up on it, because now they're worried about DMCA. They're worried about music and stuff now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. But like I said, I plan on bringing that back. No, hopefully no one steals my idea, because I just said it out here out loud.
That's copywritten material. You can't do anything with it.
Yes. So, but yes, like I said, I'm. So when I saw Wicked Six, I was like, yes.
I'm going to put you in touch with Jessica, because she just launched her. Jessica's our board president. She has a marketing company for cybersecurity companies. And she just launched Cat's Eye Games, which is all of that stuff. So I'll put you in touch with her, and we can get you on that advisory board, get you in those calls to get that rolling.
Yay! Okay.
And you get a fancy shirt that says you're like important and in charge of Wicked Six type stuff.
That's special. So one of the other things that I saw on your long list of accolades and accomplishments was that you were the inaugural winner of ISC2 Diversity Award. So so congratulations, even though it's like a year later.
It's okay.
What does, I mean, and again, touching on everything that we just talked about, I think you're well deserved. I mean, with everything you're doing with the organization and, just your experiences. So tell, the people want to know, what does that feel? What did that feel like? What does that mean to you? What does that award mean to you?
So I thought it was a joke. They said somebody from ISC2 sent me an email, and we're cyber professionals. I'm like, this is probably phishing. I don't think I should respond to this. I don't think this is a real thing, because I don't do the work to get awards. But even though I do the work, I don't get awards for it, right? I got my first award here in 2018 from one of the local groups for the work that we've done in the community. But when I heard it, I was like, okay, I don't know what this means. How do you guys, this huge organization, know me? Right. And I responded, and I was like, is this real? She was like, yeah, it's very real. I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, we're going to fly you out to Florida for the conference. We'll put you up in the hotel, and, you get to go to the conference for free, and you get to do all this stuff. And I was just like, whoa, really? I didn't even know it was one of those things where somebody nominates you. So I had no clue who nominated me when I got there. Because again, I'm thinking, I'm just doing this stuff because I want to do this stuff, not because I want to get, a rack of awards or anything like that. I'm like, who the heck nominated me. Come to find out, it was the Northern Virginia chapter of ISC2 that nominated me.
Wow.
And I was surprised still because I know those folks, like I know of them, but I don't know them like that, right? I haven't been out in that area in quite some time. And so to me, I was just like, wow, this is pretty dope. You know, I got to meet Tamiko Evans. She got an award as well. There, the cyber rapper.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, it felt great. You know, it wasn't because it wasn't for my technical skills. It was because I was giving back to the community and I was helping fix a problem that's out there. You know, and like I said, I was surprised. I was just like, wow. And then when you go in and you pick up the award, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the ISC2 conferences, but in their auditorium, they have this huge screen, like the esports arena screen, but long and big. And my face is on the screen. And I'm just like, it's like so close.
I know that person.
I was like, that's me. You know, it's like seeing your name in lights type of thing. And so to get something from such a well-respected organization and one that everybody knows around the world, it was pretty cool, you know, and people from other countries were like, you know, congratulations, let's link up, let's connect. And it was like, wow, okay. You know, you can't really be friends with folks from other countries in the government. Private sector doesn't matter. No one cares. So my clearance is not going to go away because I have international friends. But it was cool. It was definitely cool. It's my award sitting right there. I just rearranged my office space up here. And I was like, you know what, I should put this on display because I don't display my certifications. I don't have my degrees displayed. They're all kind of just in a box.
Well,
And
I'm gonna tell you like I tell Ty all the time. Nah, you know what? You earned it. Flex a little.
yeah, I've never been like that.
I know, but you know what? Well, look, it didn't. It's not like it was just handed to you.
That's true.
You weren't a mediocre Matt. And
mediocre Matt.
You know, let's keep it real. You worked hard to get where you're at. So you know what? If you want to post it up a little bit, everyone. I mean, I was the same.
I see yours back there. I know. I saw that earlier. I was like, dang, you got a lot of stuff up there, huh?
Yeah, like I was the same way. Like when especially when I said I was walking away, I took it all down, and like my wife walked in and was like, "There's something missing here," and I was like,
right.
You know, but now I'm like, oh, you know what? Damn it. I did stay up those long hours.
Right. That's true.
You know, I did start feeling weird tingling in my arm studying sometime. So no, I'm gonna put it up there. So yeah, no, absolutely. You earned it. So flex a little. Absolutely. And it was well deserved.
Maybe 2021, I'll take a picture of all of my stuff hanging in the loft space. I don't know. We'll see.
Like I said, just a little bit, you know.
Just a little bit.
So final two questions before we get to Q&A.
Okay.
It could be technical or not technical. But what advice would you give to anybody, to the noobs looking to get into the field?
So you're going to get challenged. Somebody's going to tell you you don't know something, or they're going to think that you don't know something. Take that energy and prove them wrong.
Talk about it. I love that shit.
Take that energy. Story. So when I first got to this casino, I asked the guy that had been there for like a couple months before us. He had configured our scanning tools. And I said, well, where's the documentation? How do you customize this? How are you setting this up? He said to me, read the help file. Why would Rapid7's help file have our customizations? He wouldn't help me at all because he wanted me to go figure it out. So you know what I did? I went and read the help file, and then I reconfigured the tool to work the way it was supposed to. So when people bring that negative energy to you, you take that negative energy and you turn it into something positive, and you show out basically. And I was like, yeah. So now what? And I'm a quiet person anyway, until you get to know me, hang out with me, but you're not going to come at me crazy like that and think I'm not going to come back at you. So,
listen,
yeah.
I told you earlier,
He's a mediocre Matt.
Sometimes you got to do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, look, see, you do got you can flex when you need to.
I can when I need to. I can when I need to.
So, but hey, but I get it. I get it. Like I said, sometimes they need to be told if they don't know. Like, I will introduce myself.
Exactly. Let me be crisp.
Yeah. And finally, and I ask this to everybody who joins the show, what is your why? So when you get into the field, I tell people who I mentor or who come in and, I'm like, figure out what your why is, because that's going to keep you going on those late nights, or when you look at it and go, I don't care how much money I make. I need, what you need, something that's going to keep you going during those difficult times. So what is your why?
So that's a good question. I never really thought about that. I think I got into tech. Well, my undergraduate degree is a bachelor's of business in computer information systems. And I wanted to be a database administrator. I was an Access. I loved Access, even though it's kind of crappy. But my why now, I like the challenge. So I'm a puzzle person. I like to, do puzzles. I like to build Lego sets. I've got tons of them around the house. And I like the challenge. And I like the challenge of being able to help organizations and companies figure out, okay, how can I be more secure and still allow my folks to do their job, be successful, make sure our patron data is, secure and protected. I think that's my why. We don't have kids together. He's got a 19-year-old daughter. But I think that's why I stick with it. Because like you said, this year I've like, you know what, I quit. I'm over cyber. I'm just ready to move on and do something different. I want to have a different challenge. And then I move over to Palo Alto, and it's just like, whoa. It's this whole different world of challenges, because every customer is different. And so that's why I keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I also believe in giving people their flowers when they can smell them. And you may not consider yourself to be a legend, but you are definitely someone who is well deserving of your accolades. You are amazing. The work you do is amazing, and I salute you. And,
well, thank you.
And if anybody gives you any problems,
I'm sending them your way.
You can tell them to come talk to me. So, but like I said, I definitely, I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule, because we know it's busy.
I've got Post-its on my little dry erase board over here of things that I have to do.
But I definitely appreciate it. So I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. But again, it doesn't look like it's Q&A. It's just all, people just again showing their love and giving their flowers.
I appreciate it.
JB says he'll volunteer to get everyone their Fat Tuesday beverages right upstairs from the gaming auditorium.
Exactly. Yep. I'll hold you to that, JB.
So me, Bizzle, Ty, if you're still watching, because we were supposed to link up at some point this year too, and then I didn't go to B-Sides Nova, and then everything shut down. So Majestic Logic says, I believe this is the first time outside of DEF CON that I heard someone speak on casino systems. Hey, listen.
It's a cryptic thing. You don't know, it's, you can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Because our casino was, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's on, I think, Darknet Diaries or something. There's an episode. They were breached. And the breach was just as big as like Target.
Oh, wow.
But nobody knew about it because we got money. And they were able to keep that quiet.
But look, but you know what's crazy now? They were able to keep that quiet. And we're dealing with a breach right now.
Right now. Yes.
So again, now here you go, casino flex, because a casino can, but everybody knows Twitter is breaking down the solar winds.
Yes. Yes.
and for those who, I mean, anybody who's in cybersecurity, whether you are passively heard about it, everybody knows between FireEye, and if you didn't hear about FireEye, you definitely heard about SolarWinds.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
didn't hear about SolarWinds, you heard about the government organizations.
The government,
If
exactly.
you didn't hear any about that, you heard Russia. So
Yeah,
you know,
right. You know about it.
right.
Yeah, if you didn't, like when I interviewed for that job, he was like, "Did you know about the breach?" And I said, "Huh?" It's like, let me go look that up right now. Because they were Sheldon Adelson is $33 billion worth of a man.
Well,
He owns the newspapers here.
I could see where
Yeah.
he can,
I
course.
believe Microsoft was, I believe it, Cyber Insight or JB. Yeah. Tyrone, yes, you can come to the pool. You guys are all welcome to the pool party. We'll do a pool party next year at the house. It's a BYOB type of party.
Hey, listen. Well, we're there. We're there. Like I said, so Ty JB, we got to set that up. So we got to link that up. And I think that is hold on. He says taking hacking classes, certs are
Yes.
knowledge base to use for building and designing environments with security in mind, even if you never do red team activities. No, absolutely. I actually just told somebody today who felt like they they kind of went through the ranks pretty quickly, but they felt like they may have missed some of the basics. So I said, well, learn some hacking techniques. He was like,
Yep.
I don't plan on doing a pen test. Pen test is not my thing. I said, it's not about doing it. It's about understanding what's going on. So you can talk about it in a meeting. So, absolutely. So with that being said, we survived. Like I said, I hopefully next week we will be back with our regular setup. But I think I did pretty good for this setup.
It looks great. I love to see those that stack of thing. I don't know what those are, but I see them.
Oh,
Those things are, yes, they are so popular overseas. Singapore, they have the whole store in Singapore for those things.
This is wall 2. It actually extends out that way. And then
you have insurance, right?
Huh?
You have insurance on that stuff, right?
The ones that need insurance aren't here.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, and then my wife, like, she loved the diamond ones from Hot Topic, so it was like sparkly. So she has a section of the wall, even though it's my side of the man cave, but whatever, you compromise, right?
Do you guys ever plan on moving? No.
When the kids were done with school, probably.
Oh, you've got some time then, huh?
Yeah, I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, see, we move too often.
Yeah. No, I think if I were to move, we moved down here January will be 4 years.
Okay.
So I think if I moved again, I think I would be the only one moving.
My husband was in the Army for 13 and a half years. I totally get it.
Yeah.
We did he was deployed a lot. We did a lot of separation, a lot of moving by myself, all that stuff. So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah. So like I said, if you aren't busy next Wednesday,
I will be there.
You are more than welcome to pop up on the hot. Like I said, it's going to be just. I don't have an interview. I don't have a guest lined up. I'm just gonna leave it open, and if not, it's just gonna be y'all just gonna be staring at me by myself for an hour.
We should just interview you. Like whoever comes on should interview you.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. So you hear it. So Mary Galloway says,
"Got to find questions."
if you join next week, y'all can interview me.
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So there it goes. All right. Well, I thank all of you for joining and rocking out with me tonight. I want to thank my guest for joining. Thank you. I appreciate you. And like I said, I will be there next year, especially for the Wicked Six. So to everybody, you guys have a good night. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. And y'all take it easy.
Bye.